Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our next week of 20 Minutes for Israel from Israel. We're so glad that you're joining us. And for those who are listening afterwards, welcome. We're humbled to be joined this afternoon, this evening in Israel, by attorney Tamar. How do you pronounce your last name?
Oderberg.
Oderberg.
Yeah,
Uh,
it took me time also to get used to it.
I meant to ask you before, and then I forgot. Tamar comes to us from a very important organization called Yad Isa, which is an organization which she'll share more about that advocates for women, particularly in the divorce and the religious courts arena. And obviously, like everything that we've been learning about in this 20 Minutes for Israel from Israel, there is a connection, a through line to the horrific events of October 7th and its wide and broad impact on Israeli society in all different areas, in all different pieces. Tamar, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to our virtual Young Israel. And why don't you just start off by telling us a little about yourself, and then we'll hear about some of the work that you typically do.
Okay, great. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It's very exciting for me to be here, and it's very important. So a little bit about myself. My name, like you said, is Tamar, and I'm married to Amichai. We have, Baruch Hashem, 5 children between the ages of 18 to almost 5. Um, I live in a place called Oranit. It's a settlement not far from Petah Tikva. I usually work in Tel Aviv, and I'm a lawyer, and I've been working for over a decade now in Yad Isha.
When you say settlement, we mean more like a neighborhood, a community. Sometimes settlement, has different connotations in English. Live on a hilltop somewhere in a disputed region. You live as a suburb of Tel Aviv, correct?
Yeah, something like that. It's like a small town, a
Right,
very,
exactly.
very small town.
So tell us a little about what Yad Isha is and what you do for them.
Okay, so Yad Isha is a nonprofit organization that was founded over more than 25 years ago by Rabbi Riskin. And we represent women who are agunot or mesoravot get. Um, and aguna is a woman that her husband isn't here to give her the get. He's missing or he disappeared. Or either he can't give the get because of some kind of medical condition. For instance, he's in a coma. And mesorevet get is a woman that wants to get her divorce, her get, but her husband just refuses to give it to her. There can be all kinds of reasons. It can be because he still loves her and he doesn't want a divorce. It can be because he wants to control her. It can be money issues, and there can be a lot of reasons. We represent Jewish women from all over the world in the rabbinical courts in Israel. We have a few branches of our organization, so we're spread all over Israel from the south to the north. And we have a team of lawyers and toanot rabbaniyot that are actually rabbinical advocates in Bet Adin. We also have a staff of social workers out of our perception that a woman that's going through a hard divorce case needs the emotional escort just like she needs the legal one. Other than representing, we also receive all kinds of phone calls from women who are in the middle of a divorce procedure or are thinking about it and they want to consult. They can come to us and meet with us, meeting free of charge, and we hear the story and try to give our best legal advice. And of course, we do a lot of public work like that relates to this subject, relevant legislation, prenup agreements, and everything that's relevant to the matter of agunot and mesoravot get.
So there's probably a lot to start to dive in. But if you could share with us a little bit how October 7th, excuse me, affected your work, um, and the many different people that you service.
Okay, so I'll try to start from the beginning. How it all started, as we all remember, October 7th was a Shabbat and Simchat Torah. I can personally share that I woke up at 8:30 a.m. and in our shul, the tefillah starts in a regular Shabbat. It starts at 8:30. On holidays, it starts usually earlier at 8 o'clock. So I saw it's already 8:30, and I wake up my husband and said, I told him, "You're late for the tefillah." And he said, "No, it starts at 8:30, not at 8." But I said, "No, it's Simchat Torah. Go, get up." So he argued with me a little bit, but he got up and went to shul. And after, I think, less than 2 minutes, he came back home, and he said, "I came back to update you with two things. The first thing is that the tefillah is at 8:30, and the second, a war started." And I'm like, "What?" Anyway, it turned out that he left the house. He was on his way to the Beit Knesset, and he met two friends, and he turned to them and he said, "Tell me, what time does the tefillah begin?" And they're looking at him, and they told him, "You're not you're not connected to what's happening here." And they already heard that there started a missile attack, and suddenly a lot of information came in from all kinds of people who were connected, and we started hearing the news. We started to get a picture, not a whole one. It took a long time until we had a whole picture, but suddenly people started receiving phone calls from the army, telling them to be prepared. Some were already recruited. A lot of friends of ours, a lot of friends' children. Personally, in my family, my brother was recruited to the army on that Simchat Torah. He left his wife and two children at home, and he's fighting until now in Gaza. I have a brother-in-law that he's a pilot in the army, and he also left his house early that morning. A sister that had to be evacuated from her house because it wasn't safe to stay there with three children. She practically moved in to live again with my parents for about a month until it was safe to come back. And all the time, day after day, we're hearing about more people that were kidnapped, that are missing, that were killed, injured, a lot of seriously injured, and there were so many mixed feelings, so much sadness and pain and frustration. But with all of that, there were also heroes and brave stories, and a lot of organizations of private people that just wanted to help, and a lot of doing. I mean, people who donated clothes, and people that offered shelter to other people that they don't even know, and cooking. I mean, a lot of food for families. I mean, we found there were families with that the husband was recruited, and families that suddenly half of the family was in the army, and everyone just wanted to help. So there was a lot of doing and a feeling of togetherness. So a lot of mixed emotions. And inside all these feelings, there was all at the beginning, no schools. Most of the workplaces were also closed. Like, really, our world totally turned upside down. And after the first 2 weeks, we realized that we need some kind of going back to living. So in my field, the rabbinical courts, Batei Adin Rabbanim, they were still working, and they were open. And at first it felt like there's no connection. I mean, who can even deal or think about divorce proceedings when we're thinking about fighting for our state's existence. But and also Batei Din, they also suffered some losses. There was a Dayan that was killed in a terror attack, and another one that was seriously injured, and a few of them were also recruited to the army. So the whole system was like in a weird place. But then we also started to receive all kinds of phone calls from women that wanted to ask us, what are they supposed to do? They're very afraid of their husband, and he's sometimes violent, and now he's in the army, and he's supposed to come back home with his weapon. So what can they do? Or a lot of men ask for gun licenses in order to defend themselves. So that also put a lot of women in danger. And when we got these calls, we understood that we still have an important job, and we need to be there for our clients and for all women that feel that they need our advice. So we also got back to work, and we even saw a few cases that gave us a little of light in this big darkness. I can share a story of one of our clients that she came to live in Israel, and her husband doesn't live here, and he refused to give her the get, and she was a little bit stuck because he's not here, and he didn't appear to discussions. But when the war started, it turned out that he started to feel unsafe in his neighborhood, and there started to be a lot of antisemiut, and he decided to come back to Israel. And when we found out that he came here, so we immediately asked for a warrant to stop him from leaving, and then he had no choice but to appear in front of Bet Adin, and eventually he agreed to give the get. So I say that's one woman that the war helped in her case. We had another client that her husband also appeared to discussions but refused to give her the get, and one of the Dayanim offered him that he had a lot of taxes that he didn't pay to the state, and the Dayan told him, we will make sure that you won't have to pay any of the taxes you owe. We'll erase that, and in one condition, that you give your wife her get today. And the husband said, okay, I'll think about it. And when the Dayan heard that he'll think about it, he started yelling and screaming at him, do you know we are at war? Do you know how much expenses the state has? Do you know how much money the army needs for all of his equipment? And what's the economy status now in Israel? And with all that, we are willing to erase your debt to the state, and you're telling us that you're gonna think about it? So the husband, was like a little bit shocked, and immediately said, okay, I agree, and he really gave the get that day. So that's our points of light, and again, it shows us how much our job is important. Also,
we hear from a lot of people about the intersection between their professional and personal, and you shared a little bit about that. I know you mentioned that there were some people who you knew who fell, and that you wanted to share them with us so we can help commemorate the heroes.
Right. So I have to share. I don't know how it's seen where you live in the States and in other places, but it's hard to pass the feeling that we have every morning. We wake up and see the news with the words in Hebrew. It's hutar lepirsum. It's actually the IDF that allows to publish the names of the soldiers that fell in the last battle. And we wake up and we pray that it's not someone we know, but we all know, everyone here knows someone or his family or his friends, and there are a lot of circles. So I can share specifically from Yad Isha. Pnina Omer, our CEO's nephew, was an officer in the army. His name was Nitai Amar, and on that Shabbat, on October 7th, he was on vacation, and he went to his family that lives in Kibbutz Alumim. It's a kibbutz that's very close to Gaza. And when the siren started and the missile attack started, he immediately wanted to drive back to his base, to his military base, and he took the car and drove. But he didn't know, and no one could imagine that the whole road was full of Hamas terrorists, and he was killed there. And I want to share also our dear colleague Tehila Cohen. She's a lawyer in Yad Isha, and her son Yehuda Natan Cohen was also a captain in the army, and he fell in one of the battles in Gaza while he tried to take care of his soldiers. And from Oranit, the little town that I live in, there are also 3 soldiers that fell, Erez, Gal, and Rotem. And everyone is a name, but every name is a whole world. And if we know and if we don't know, it's literally heartbreaking, really. So thank you for letting me share this.
Well, part of what our goal for this program is to be able to connect behind the headlines. So many people here wake up and go to sleep with the news as well, and they try so much to be connected. It's obviously different being here. So you're talking to a group of Americans. We're in North America, and then in New England area in Connecticut. From your perspective, as our time comes to an end together, what do you think we need to know, either about the mood in Israel, or as we think about this situation? What message you want to leave with us? What do we need to know?
Well, I want to say that just this week, a lot of people celebrated the New Year. And in Israel, there are a lot of people that are still in October 7th. But our nation has been through a lot, and a lot of hard times, and we always got through it. And I feel that we're in a historical event now, and the words the Am Yisrael Chai are not ordinary words. We're here to stay here and to stand here as a nation, together and united. And I pray every day that very soon we will all be able to lean back and look at this time and see the good things that came out of this very, very hurtful and painful time that we're going through. But I know that it will come, and yeah, we have a right to be here and live here in peace and safety in our promised land, and that's what we're doing here, and we shouldn't forget that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your hard work before October 7th, and since October 7th. Yad Isha is a very important organization.
It is.
And we appreciate you taking some time to share with us. For everyone else listening, tomorrow we resume our 20 minutes for Israel from Israel at 12:30 our time, 7:30 Israel time. I wish everyone a meaningful day. Tamar, stay safe, and we continue to every day that that the IDF finished the important mission they have to do. I mean, that everyone can come home safely. All the hostages, all the soldiers. with a
Amen.
renewed sense of security for all the people of Israel.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you all for your support. It means a lot, a lot. Thank you.